Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. In this video, we're going to talk about Steve Quayle. He's probably the pioneer of independent truth media. Says he was the beginning of talk radio a long time ago. A very distinguished voice out there. He could get people to do their job. He was out on Doug Hagman. He talked about Bobby Kennedy and the propaganda outlets that just can't be bothered to ask any intelligent questions about geoengineering. We're just going to take a listen.
When you put little slicky willies, men who, might be stretching a bit, are interviewing, and they have no brains. I'm talking about this. The mainstream media, I have yet to see someone intelligent enough to discuss chemtrails. I'm yet to see any male or female, or maybe a combination of both in one body. What they cannot say is they can't intelligently discuss this. Yet you can go on Dane's site, geoengineering.org, and I think Dane's got 200 links to weather control patents. So when somebody says to me, "Oh, you're just a fearmonger," I can say this. I can quote to you the very first really well-known patent. It's 4686605. It's HARP. And it was a patent that was issued, and it's why guys wrote I forget who, Nick Begich wrote the book, Angels Don't Play This Harp. But it's important. Thank you, Eric, for scrolling this. So when people say they don't believe in geoengineering or weather warfare, I said, fine. But that's not going to save you from when the floods come and you're drowning. That's not going to save you when the droughts come and you're starving. That's not going to save you when things are beyond your understanding, but you had the chance to research it on your own.
That was about the media, the propaganda outlets, and now we're going to listen to him talk about Bobby Kennedy.
Will be dead. I want to address RFK. I think that man has got some of the biggest cojones that anybody has ever. He's telling the truth. And when you get dipstick Democrats, DSDs, mocking him, number one, he knows what he's talking about. Number two, he's done his homework. Number three, when you see spineless willies, that's usually the males lacking malehood, trying to make fun of him. I mean, come on. It's like, it's like going up somebody who's like 7 feet tall, kick him in on the calf and saying, put him up. And the guy just steps on you. Okay. RFK has done the world a great service. I'm aware of his political background. I'm aware of his family history. I'm aware of all that. But you know what, Doug? I so admire him because he stands as a man, okay? He doesn't whimper into the sandbox. He doesn't need little kittens. This is the newest plan, kittens and baby ducks to take people out of the trauma of this election. I forget which one of the universities is doing that.
So Bobby's a hero. The propaganda outlets can't ask good questions. They are not journalists. So on the 8th, when I got done watching it at 11:52 a.m., I sent this message to Steve. I recorded it because I didn't know that when you send a message to Steve, you're going to get it back if he replies to you. And he replied to me. You can read the message here. Bobby's no god. He hasn't taken endless chemicals and toxins out of society since 98. Endless sicknesses and deaths have happened. Blah, blah, blah. You can read. Steve needs to start telling this truth. Steve replies back at 11:57. I sent this at 11:52. We're in the same time zone. This is Steve, all capital letters. Shame on your accusations that I even intimidated that he was a god. You are falsely accusing me. Wow. Do you hear only what you want to hear? I limited my statements and made it clear on his vaccine stance. So this had me reply back 10 times and one more thing, to which I haven't heard back from Steve again. My first reply back was, sure, but you've also never told people what he has prevented. And then I go on to talk about how I met Steve about 12, 13 years ago, the first time. We've ran into each other a couple of times. And the first time I ran into him, I was like, hey, would you give this environmental truth? And Steve shot me down hard in one sentence. I don't even remember what he said, but it was so commanding that I have never asked Steve again. And I've run into him a few times. Never once asked him again to actually deliver good environmental truth. And then I sent him a couple of other emails that day too. Bobby didn't even clean up the rivers. How about it, Steve? Know any truth tellers who will do their job? No. Then today, I sent him a post of my video yesterday that YouTube actually took down because they say it's false medical information. But I'm like, feel free to post this. And then I sent him another with some more videos, and I told him that I'm going to be sending some more videos that he can put on his news feed on stevequayle.com. And what's very interesting is that on stevequayle.com, he took off the link to that Bobby interview. So we'll pull all the dates in here. It was on the 7th. We'll come down here. I watched it on the 8th, but when I went back to look for it in his list of articles, it was definitely posted on the 7th, but you can see all of the articles that Steve has out here, all through the 7th. There's another page. And this article, the link to this Doug Hagman interview, it's gone from his newsfeed. You can look through here. As far as I know, he posts all of his interviews out here. That's where I see a lot of them when I flip through his newsfeed. And right now, they're not out there. And right now, I'm asking Steve Quayle if he will lead the charge for independent truth media to finally start giving the public good information, because independent truth media can't think beyond global warming isn't real. That is their only environmental information that they give you, and that is as limited a train of thought and ignorant, I think as he called it, as the propaganda outlets never addressing geoengineering. Here's my inbox right now, November 11th. Today's the 12th. I haven't heard back from Steve. I don't know if he's online right now, but I haven't heard back from him since his first letting me know how shame on me to challenge him, because Steve doesn't get challenged like Bobby, and it's long overdue for both of them too, and it is long overdue for Steve Quayle to lead the independent truth media into giving you good environmental information, which includes Bobby Kennedy's environmental truth. So stay tuned, people.